Hey, this is Dan with Floor Fab. So this video is going to be a little bit different. Obviously most of my work is on cars, Jeeps, metalworking, things like that. But today I'm going to try my hand at woodworking. And I'm going to try and build a bench and a table to go in my mudroom, which we just recently painted, and we're just trying to make it look a little bit nicer. So obviously since I love building things, I've always hated spending money on furniture, because furniture can be really expensive unless you're buying some, really cheap chipboard type stuff. So I've always wanted to build my own furniture, and I've dragged my feet for so long because I always told myself, oh, I don't have the right tools, or I'm the kind of person who I want to know exactly what the plan is. I want to know every single cut before I even start. So I've finally been buying the tools I'm telling myself I need, and I designed this whole thing on paper, and I have my whole cut list. I know exactly what cuts I need to make, assuming I didn't make any mathematical errors, which, let's be honest, we all know I did. So I guess let's just dive into it. I've got 2 sheets of oak plywood and 3, I think they're maple boards for the top. So I'm going to start with the top. I'm going to cut up these maple boards. They're going to be stacked 3 deep, so it's going to be 18 inches deep, and then in the end 54 inches wide. We're going to do a glue up on those. The top's going to be stained and polyed, and then the rest of the base is going to be like a bright white. So let's get to it. Okay, so we've got the main base all put together. Now I'm going to work on the drawers. Since I had to make one or two dimension changes due to miscuts, I've got to now change the size of the drawer faces that I cut. Just trim them up a little bit. So we're going to come over and put them in the crosscut sled and just trim them down. Okay, so the four corners of each drawer are now cut to size, and there's enough of a gap all the way around that I'll still be able to put the veneer on, and the drawers still should move nicely. So now we've got to put a bottom on the drawers, and for the bottom I'm going to use this like 1/8 inch hardboard, I believe is what Home Depot called it. It's, I mean, basically like a really thin, flexible MDF. So I'm going to take the table saw and do passes like halfway through the wood, so if that's showing up. So I'll do 1 or 2 passes to get the desired width, and then it will be able to drop onto the hardboard just like that, and I'll do that on all 4 pieces, and then that way it'll capture the hardboard, and that'll be the drawer bottom. Okay, so I'm finally done painting these things. I really dislike painting, especially like fine painting like this where there's a lot of nooks and crannies. If it's a massive wall that I just have to roll, I can do that, but this stuff took forever, and so I just got 1 coat of primer, 2 coats of gloss white on everything, and now I'm working on putting the tops on. So I've got the top lined up, and my clamps, you know, there's no way for me to get these big long clamps on there. None of my C clamps under there really would work, so I've got a ratchet strip wrapped all the way around it, and that's sucking it down, and now I'm going to go ahead and try and screw it in, and hopefully it stays put. Okay, so the tops are on and the finish is pretty good, but you could see some streaks in it from where I was applying the poly. So first I hit it with, this is 2000 grit sandpaper, and just did some light passes over the top of it. And now I've got just an automotive polisher with a cheap disc on it, because I'm not going to use my good ones on this, let's be honest, and just some automotive polish as well. So fingers crossed this works out. I don't know. Check it out with me. Well, I think it helped. It's hard to tell really if it got rid of any of the sanding marks or anything like that, because the polish also, it like lays down some oils and things like that, stuff you'd want in an automotive paint. So it made it super glossy, which the glossiness might just be covering up any imperfections that are still in it. But I don't know. it looks better, so I'm gonna roll with it, do the rest of it. Okay, so that's it. We've got the table and the bench in the room. They've been in here for a couple of days, been using them. The shoe storage is nice, and I mean, the more that I use these, the more that I like them. You know, as I was making them, and during the project at least, I was getting really aggravated. You know, the project just seemed to be dragging on, and in retrospect, maybe I shouldn't have picked such a large project for only my second attempt at craft woodworking, but you know, I powered through it, and sure, I made mistakes, but I think I recovered okay, and I think everything turned out nicely. So I think it'll be a while until I try some big woodworking projects again. This one kind of scared me, so I'm gonna get back to working on cars. I'm doing, ball joints and steering on my Super Duty right now, just as some maintenance that came up. But that'll be it for this video. So I'll catch you guys next time.